So today I want to talk about controlling your insulin, using glucose monitors if needed, and just everything that I've been doing for the last couple of months that has been working, especially when you're enjoying your social life, which is what I preach about most of the time on my podcast. And there's a couple things I want you to try out and also a social media channel I'd like you to check out as well. So if you're interested, stay tuned. How's it going? This is Brad Williams with Over 40 Fitness Hacks, the podcast where I help you, being over 40, to fight the aging process without giving up your social life. I've been a personal trainer and gym owner for over 14 years, and I specialize in helping the over 40 crowd get to their goal. If you need a little bit of guidance, check out my show notes. I have a link to schedule a free 15-minute Zoom call, and you can ask all the questions you want. But enough of that. Let's get on with the episode. So let's just start off with the social media channel real quick. If you go on TikTok, and I'm sure he's on Instagram and YouTube, this guy's name is Justin Stop Spiking Sugar, and his tag is at Insulin Resistant One. And I really think it'd be valuable if you check him out. It's only so much I can explain where you can go down the rabbit hole, look at all his posts. But what he does is he uses a glucose monitor, which I've talked about and had people on my show from NutriSense, which I love the experience and highly recommend. And basically the glucose monitor goes onto your tricep. In real time, it detects blood sugar spikes. Thus, if you get a blood sugar spike, you can be well assured that there's an insulin response to that. There's no real way to, I guess, test for insulin for the normal population. So we go off of blood sugar. And the cool thing about Justin's channel is all he does all day, every day is basically tries some type of food to see what the blood sugar response is hours later. And then the next day he'll do the same thing again, but he'll add something like vegetables or protein to show you what would happen if you ate food in a specific order, which I talk about all the time. Eat your protein and veggies first, fats next, and then carbs last. And I mean, that's what everyone preaches and it works, but he shows it to you in real time using science, using the monitor. And then if you'd like to try it yourself, you can kind of do what I did back in the day when I got my NutriSense monitor and just start biohacking, your weekend and what you can do about it. But I'd say the last 4 months, I've been really adamant about watching my insulin response to food. And I've cut my meals down to 2 meals a day, taking digestive enzymes to help me absorb more protein. Because at this point, I'm trying to take down 75 grams of protein in one hit, which is probably not all going to get assimilated, right? But with digestive enzymes, that helps a little bit. And then I'll eat my meals exactly in that order: protein, vegetables, fat, and carbs. And I usually don't have any carbs because I'm more keto, low carb anyways. But just from moving it to the 2 meals a day instead of the typical bodybuilder diet where you're snacking every hour, trying to get small amounts of protein in, keep your metabolism running. For the over 40 crowd, unless you're just living that bodybuilder life, the 2 meals a day just works so much better. Easier to count calories, easier to count your protein, easier to control your insulin, which is what I'm telling you that the over 40 crowd, this is the main problem. Movement's one thing, protein's another, but watching your insulin, because when your insulin spikes, however long it takes that insulin to do its job, get those nutrients to your cells and then calm down, get absorbed by the body. So that's why you wear those glucose monitors to show what types of food are spiking it up the highest, how long it takes to get back to homeostasis. And that's the problem, is the longer your insulin is staying in your system, your ability to burn fat is just completely negated. So you have to wait the time it takes for the insulin to go all the way down before your body even has a chance to go back into the fat burning mode. And when you start timing things like power walking or doing things long distance running that are going to use more fat oxidation, it's not going to work at all. If you had just eaten something and you still have insulin in your body, you're going to be burning muscle glycogen first until that's completely out of your body. So what I like seeing on Justin's channel is he'll show like the good stuff: cane sugar, watermelon, all the stuff that's high glycemic. It's going to spike that blood sugar. And sure enough, it does. And he'll wait like an hour for the body to get those foods into the system. It takes a while for the glucose monitor to catch it up in your blood flow in your tricep, which I don't know why they picked that location, but I guess it's just the easiest. And then he'll go the next day and put like a steak first, and then he'll eat an entire half of watermelon. And there's literally no spike, and the blood sugar drops super quickly. And it's because of that. slowing down the absorption and eating with other things, you don't get that high of a glucose spike. Thus, you shouldn't have that high of an insulin response either, and for not that long. And I could attest to it because what I'm doing with my 2 meals and then fasting the rest of the time, I'm burning more fat than I was before, yet I'm eating the same amount of calories, the same amount of protein. I'm just forcing it into 2 instead of 3 to 5 meals during the day. So I really think you get a kick out of watching his channel. I'm not going to try to recreate that and do that. I got too much other stuff to do. But I'm big on social life. I'll eat garbage on the weekends, try to not do that much. I'll drink alcohol. And then I started prepping a little better. Besides fasting before these parties or if I'm going out, which is what my kind of go-to thing was prior to learning more about insulin. Now I'm bringing with me meat. It's easy if you bring a bag of jerky, although preservatives and a lot of sodium. So you got to watch out for that and counteract that. But it's just easy to bring with you. But any type of protein, just plan it that way before you even hit the party because they're not going to serve enough protein or not at the right times if you're at a barbecue. They always have the sides and fixings first for people to sit there and graze on. And then the meat doesn't come till later. Well, you just got screwed, right? So now you bring your own meat or your jerky or whatever you want to do for protein. Hold off as long as you can, right? You still want to get that good fasting. Maybe the party's not till 1 p.m. or something. Then 30 minutes prior to arriving and going to town on all the chips and whatever else they got, you take in all that protein, 30 grams plus. It sits there in your stomach and it's basically doing the same thing that this guy Justin's channel is showing you, that when you have protein in first, it cuts this blood glucose spike almost by half, it seems, or more. So I go to this party, I get a bag of turkey jerky, finish it in the car half hour before we arrive to this party. Then we get to the party, and of course, like I said, all the things are available to munch on: chips, crackers, cheeses, and then there's vegetables. So my next go-to thing is let's just pound a plate of vegetables, put that right on top of the protein. And then sure enough, boom, starting the beers, starting the chips. Then you start going after other stuff. But the results of what I remember doing it the old way of just who cares, this is a cheat day, put it all in whenever, versus now that this is more designed for success. This style is working so much better. I come in on a Monday morning on my normal weigh-ins and it's less than what I think it should be. And it's all because of these little tips and tricks. They do matter and it does take time. So this is not a 1 week. This is like test these things out for a month and you will start seeing these results. And then you start building good habits, which I talk about all the time. I just finished that 6-month weight loss challenge where I literally did next to nothing, just focused on one tiny little thing each month. It was so easy. Weight just fell off. And this is something I didn't do during that 6 months. I probably would have had better results had I known this. So over 40 crowd, top 3 things is try to count your calories. You don't really have to, but get in your protein. And then insulin is the #1 killer for us over 40, obtaining the results and seeing some abs and all that jazz. So anyways, check out Justin's channel. I'll put his link in the show notes. As always, I do a 15-minute free consultation on Zoom. I also have that in the show notes. I try to do that with every member of my audience just to see if I can't point you in the right direction or you just want to chat. And I also have my Facebook group, Over 40 Fitness Hacks. It's slowly growing, but I do put some time into it. And just an easy way to start building this community of over 40 like-minded people. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.